The top stories: Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed urges innovators to demonstrate their skills for development. And historians call for vibrant economy and innovation to voice African agendas. Greetings, TV viewers. We apologize for not being on time. This is ETV News with the news. I'm Shafar Alakom. Now, Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed says skills competitions will play a significant role for innovators to demonstrate their skills and capabilities. The Minister of Labour and Skills, Muferiat Kamil, also remarked that skill and technology helps to transform the country's economy. The remarks came at the third edition of National Skill Competition launched in Addis Ababa yesterday. Goshumel Sew has more on that.
The third round of National Skill Competition organized by the Ministry of Skill and Labour launched Monday in Addis Ababa, aimed at creating innovative citizens and market linkage for innovators. Speaking on the occasion, Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed said competitions will play a significant role for innovators to demonstrate their skills and capabilities.
Skill competitions will play an integral role to corroborate the talent and competence of young people and create market linkages. Skill, technology and research are important to enrich Ethiopia. Ethiopia has the potential of all resources, but these resources should be well integrated with technology and skill. Our enormous potential should be linked and produced with required level.
The Premier also urged innovative professionals to focus on result-oriented work, beating the challenges they face.
Being solutions-oriented is essential to transform Ethiopia. A nationwide skills competition has begun today, where young people with different skills and abilities are presenting their creative works. Let's be strong, let's innovate, let's focus on solutions to overcome challenges. Ethiopia has no shortages of inputs. Therefore, innovators need to use challenges as a springboard for their effective works.
Minister of Skill and Labour Muferiat Kamil for her part remarked that skill and technology have a irreplaceable role to transform the country's economy.
Technology, skills and research is vital to transform the country's economy. Such initiatives serve as springboard to demonstrate the potential of the innovative youths as well as realize the country's prosperity journey. Skill and labor competition stimulates the sector by providing problem-solving technology. The initiative also helps to transform technical and vocational training colleges one step ahead in technology transfer.
በሌላ መንገድ በቀጣይነት የኢኮኖሚውን ተወዳዳሪነት የሚያረጋግጥ አዲስ ምዕራፍ ነው።
The competition organized by the Ministry of Labour and Skills stay active for the coming 5 days.
Now, the Deputy Prime Minister and Foreign Minister Demeke Mekonnen met with the Minister of International Development of Canada, Harjit Sajjan, at his office earlier yesterday morning. Among others, the two sides discussed ways of further enhancing development cooperation between Ethiopia and Canada against the backdrop of strong, long-standing ties. Demeke told Minister Sajjan that the government of Ethiopia is striving towards effecting development both at home and in the Horn of Africa by fostering investment and trade policies as well as forging strategic partnerships conducive to regional economic integration. Demeke said international partners like Canada need to support Ethiopia's development efforts and the ongoing peace consolidation efforts, as peace is the backbone of any development initiative. Sajjan, for his part, noted the long-standing Ethio-Canadian development cooperation and vowed to continue the tradition. He expressed Canadian government's keenness to support initiatives aimed at increasing agricultural productivity on top of improving food security. Moving on, in the last 9 months of this Ethiopian fiscal year, a transaction of more than 1.2 trillion birr has been carried out through digital payment system across the country. That is according to Minister of Planning and Development Fitsum Assefa. While presenting government's 9-month performance report of the 2015 fiscal year, Fitsum mentioned that the government is focusing on digital finance to build an inclusive economy. She said the number of mobile money transfer technology users has reached more than 60 million. Accordingly, she pointed out that more than 1.2 trillion birr has been transferred through digital payments in 9 months. Ethio Telecom CEO Freyo Tamru on her part said that implementing the strategy of Digital Ethiopia is being carried out with due attention. The CEO stated that to ensure digital economy and financial inclusion in the future, there should be a consistent, integrated and properly controlled digital implementation.
ጎሽ ቁጥር እንደ ትላንትና አይቻለቅ ይሄው ምን ነው ያሳያለው የማገገም የዱር እንስሳቱ መጀመሪያ ከነበሩበት ከተበታተኑበት ቦታ ስብስባቸው ምን ያህል እንደሆነ የሚያሳይ ነው። ሁለተኛ ደግሞ ቦታዎቹ አጠቃላይ ተሽከርካሪ ሲተራመስ የነበረበት ቦታዎቹ በሙሉ ያገገሙበት መልሶ ያገገመበት ሳር ያኔ እንደዚህ አረንጓዴ የማናየው ሳር ሙሉ በሙሉ አረንጓዴ የሆነበት ቃጠሎም ጀምረናል። ቃጠሎም እናካሄደባቸው ሜዳማ ፓርቶችን ደግሞ ስናይ በጣም ግሪን ሆኖ ስናይ በቃ ከፍተኛ ተስፋ እንዳለን ነው የሚያሳየው።
ጎሽ በጣም ብዛት አለ። ከዚህ በፊት በጣም ብዛት ነበረ። የተለያዩ ማሽኖች ድምጽ አለ፣ መኪና ድምጽ አለ። ለዛ ነው ትንሽ እንኳን ቀንሶ ወደ ሌላ ቦታ እንዲሄድ እና ግማሽ ወደ ሱዳን ወጥቶ እንዲሄድ ያደረገ ያለ። በጣም ብዙ ነበር። ወመቤራ ፈርክ ያለው ቁጥር ስፍር የለም ነበር።
Welcome back. Now moving to news in connection with the AU. The first ever One African Expo has kicked off the Ethiopian Museum of Art and Science in Addis Ababa in honor of the celebration of the 60th anniversary of the African Union. The expo is being held with the objective of improving trade and investment relations among African countries. Kasaun Chane reports.
In Addis Ababa, the One Africa Expo 2023 has begun in commemoration of the African Union's 16th anniversary. The inaugural session of Expo was attended by dignitaries from many nations, including Ambassador Abdi Yassin, Public Diplomacy Director General at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and State Minister for Trade and Regional Integration, Kasaun Gofe. The first of its kind B2B, B2C and B2G trade fair, the Expo was designed exclusively for African governments, the private and public business sectors, international businesses and business experts to present their goods, services and knowledge. One African Expo CEO Yalo Getachew stated that the event will help African goods and services into the international market, creating new business
prospects throughout the continent. Ethiopia has committed itself to advancing trade and economic integration across the continent. State Minister of Trade and Regional Integration, Kasahan Gofe, reaffirmed at the Expo's inauguration. The State Minister asserts that the One Africa Expo will be essential to advancing Agenda 2063 success and promoting regional integration. Osman Babikir, Director of Economic Development and Cooperation at the Ghana Secretariat, further urged all stakeholders on our continent to support such an endeavour in order to enable a transformed region.
The One Africa Expo 2023, under the theme Enabling Development, aims to articulate the African agenda by introducing investment and the trade opportunities as part of the commemoration of the 16th anniversary of Organization for African Unity, OAU-AU. Ethiopia is indeed honored to host such a Pan-African event, and they will remain committed to implement African Union's agenda aimed at ensuring rapid prosperity.
Economic cooperation and regional integration is one of our key strategic focus in this intergovernmental organization. And we are serving our region to realize or to contribute to realization of this noble objective.
One Africa Expo 2023 has a very special opportunity to boost economies for the region. The AU is a beacon of the continent. According to Prince Kalamorga Shifarao, a descendant of King Haile Selassie I, she highlighted the day's historic nature as it marks the 16th anniversary of the AU and its founding fathers. The South African Ambassador for Peace and Security Council with the African Union stated that the One Africa Expo serves as a catalyst for the region's integration through inter-trade transactions.
Today marks a momentous and historic day as it is the first One Africa Exposition. With many leaders, decision makers, politicians, policymakers, many of us stand here united as one Africans because we all have one common goal. The same goal we've had for 60 years, which is transitioning the Africa of yesterday to tomorrow. This expo is very valuable to our continent as it will teach us how to grow our economies together through connecting our different markets with manufacturers, service providers, policymakers, etc.
Yes, Africa has suffered a lot over independencies of many countries 60 years ago, 50 years ago, and the recent 12 years ago of the Sudan who have received the independence, South Sudan who have received the independence. It's a moment to have a first expo for the Africa, to have the inter-trade together.
With the participation of all 55 member states, this platform gives an outstanding visual experience of Africa by bringing together a wide range of industries, including transportation, cultural variety, tourism, technology, green initiatives, agro-industries, financial services and infrastructure. One Africa Expo 2023 is a must-attend event for people looking to learn more about and grow their business opportunities in Africa, while also assisting in the growth of the continent's economic prosperity, it was stated.
Now, ensuring a vibrant economy and enhancing the creativity of innovation is said to be critical to hold the position of the existing international political order. Talking to ETV English instructor at the Addis Ababa University, Dachasa Ababa says Ethiopia is playing an unprecedented role in bridging the gap in voicing African matters to the international community. Haptama Shagre has more on that.
Efforts are well underway to observe the 16th year anniversary of the then Organization of African Unity, now African Union Commission, with various assortments. Talking to TV English, instructor of Addis Ababa University, Dachasa Abebe said Ethiopia is playing a critical role in establishing the Zen Organization of African Unity. According to Dachasa, realizing vibrant economy and innovation is a key factors to voice African agendas to the rest of the international community.
Economic power is very critical. When you are strong enough in economy or economic power, I think the world began to look to your interest. I don't think we have as such, for example, strong culture of innovation, coming up with new ideas and influence the global economy and the like.
Despite many complications in Africa, Dachasa underlined that the African Union Commission has been undertaking a list of effective activities in the continent.
After the so-called independence was achieved, there have been conflicts among the African states in different parts of the continent. You can take a number of examples in different corners of the continent. In resolving those conflicts, at least to my knowledge, this continental organization plays a significant role, at least in mediation or in arbitration and the like.
Apart from particular nations' efforts, the instructor said collective efforts are needed to finalize the United Nations permanency to have fair representation for over 1.3 billion Africans. Maria Mamo, who is communication officer at Partnership and Communication at African Studies Professionals Association, for her part said efforts are well underway to observe African Day with various assortments in the capital. According to Maria, efforts are well in progress to expand the celebration of African Day as a holiday of all Pan-Africanists beyond to Africa.
We're planning to work with some embassies, bringing together, people from the Maghreb Arab, so that we feel and we make this holiday a Pan-African holiday. We're bringing in diaspora representatives to talk about how their insights on this day and on Pan-Africanism. We're also exploring how we can, further work together with groups of African descendants.
While observing the 16th year anniversary of African Union Commission, Ayele Bekri, who is a historian, said further efforts are needed to realize prosperous Africa.
Our Africa, our future, is to indicate that we have everything that is needed for us to transform ourselves so that we will be prosperous, we will be peaceful, we will have our stage in the world arena. You see, that's also in connection to Agenda 2060.
Preparations are well underway to observe the 16th year anniversary of the African Union Commission with various assortments in the metropolis.
Now, at the continental giant, the African Union celebrates its 60th anniversary. Analysts worry that it still has to grapple with unconstitutional coups. After gaining its independence, Africa has gone through various ups and downs, and political observers say the Union should adopt a zero tolerance for the overthrow of constitutionally elected government. Johannes van Town has compiled the following story.
The Organization of African Unity was established on May 25, 1963 in Addis Ababa with the aim of promoting unity and solidarity amongst African states and to ridding the continent of the remaining vestiges of colonization and apartheid, which signaled the beginning of the end of Africa's colonial history. The Union has been doing its level best for the development and democratization of Africa since its inception. Africa as a continent has been challenged by security problems, poverty, lack of democracy, and other man-made and natural disasters as obstacles to proper implementation of the activities planned by the Union. But structural problems coupled with necessity of the time forced its leaders to change the OAU to the AU back in 2002. Since its establishment, the Union has been preparing and implementing various strategic plans and is carrying out various activities in order to achieve Agenda 2063 for the overall development of the continent. However, it has faced various threats to realize this agenda, and the frequent coups are the main ones mentioned. Military takeovers were common throughout Africa in the years after independence, and there were worries that this trend may continue. In 2022, there were unsuccessful coup attempts in Guinea-Bissau, the Gambia, and the island country of Sao Tome and Principe, in addition to the two takeovers in Burkina Faso. In Africa, in 2021, there were 6 coup attempts, 4 of which were successful. Concerns has been voiced about the resurgence of unconstitutional change of power once the well-known Pan-Africanist Paul Lumumba said the following.
And at one time it was being said of many African countries that coups were as frequent as breakfast. But the truth and the unfortunate thing that in many of those countries, even breakfast was not that frequent.
Despite the numerous coups in many West African and some East African states, former Nigerian President Olusegun Obasanjo argued that the African Union can stop the problem of military takeovers, but with strict measures like suspending any government who came to power without election.
I believe our organization, continental organization, will find a way out of it. Because if you remember, what put paid to eat at one time was when we put our foot down. And I moved that motion in Algeria then, in 1999, that any country that has a government not through the constitutional means should be suspended.
Several African administrations are accused in this regard for altering their constitutions to increase the length of their terms in power. And for the President of the African Parliament, this act of malgovernance provides fertile ground for instability and chaos.
That part of good governance is to comply with the laws that we have put in place. And just to go back to what he replied, I didn't want to mention the country about someone trying to change the constitution, but I'll be more open. Burkina Faso at one time went into parliament and amended, they did amend. And then the people went into the streets and said, you MPs, who told you to amend the constitution? Are you acting in our interest? No. So we are going to burn the parliament. And the Burkina Faso parliament was burned, put in flames, because people said, you have changed the constitution to remove the term limit of the president, yet you never spoke to us as citizens. We don't like what you've done.
Military coups are a continuation of politics by other means, especially in West Africa, with the political system favor only political class to the detriment of masses. Unlike democratic governments with political mandates based on constitutions and election outcomes, among other things, the political mandate of military coup leaders stem from the barrel of the gun.
And now in business, Ethiopian Airlines has launched a direct passenger flight service to Copenhagen, Denmark. The new flight will be operated 5 times a week, except on Tuesdays and Sundays, it was learned. Tigisirnis has the following count.
Launching Ethiopian Airlines to Copenhagen, Denmark direct passenger flight service Sunday evening, Ethiopian Airlines Group CEO Mesfin Dasso said the airline has been increasing its international destinations as part of its growth strategic plan. The newly inaugurated flight to Copenhagen will play a crucial role to connect Ethiopia with Denmark and African countries, Mesfin added. He went on saying that this new flight route will strengthen the airline's capacity in extending its destination across nations.
ወደ ዴንማርክ የምንበራው አዲስ Our newly inaugurated route to Copenhagen, Denmark will help extend its destination across nations, so the launch flight will also help boost the company's strengths in rendering excellence at all levels.
The CEO further noted that the launching of this direct flight route will become a crucial gateway for the airline in Northern Europe and Southern Scandinavia.
መላው አፍሪካ አዲስ አበባን እንደ መተላለፊያ ተጠቅመው
This flight route will help entire Africans to transit through Addis Ababa for a direct flight to Copenhagen. And Copenhagen is strategically located in the very southern Scandinavian, which we don't have any route from the particular area, so this will help a great deal.
Counselor in Denmark Embassy in Ethiopia, Siv Berendate, said the flight will help in elevating the economic and diplomatic cooperation between not only Ethiopia and Denmark, but to entire Africa to a higher level.
And also allow me to extend the congratulations to all Ethiopians and all Danes and to our cities of Addis Ababa and Copenhagen, as this direct route will bring us even closer. I look forward to use the route already in 10 days as I go home to Denmark to attend my friend's visit, my friend's wedding in Copenhagen, and again in July as I go for my annual leave. And I hope that many Ethiopians will be joining me on the flight. I also hope and I trust that many more Danes will now travel to Ethiopia to visit your magnificent historical and natural sites, including the churches of Lalibela and the peaks of Simien Mountains, and to see your beautiful wildlife of amazing and endemic species.
Ethiopian first served in Copenhagen in November 1999, but the flight has been suspended about 4 years later. Ethiopian commands the lion's share of the Pan-African passenger and cargo network, operating the youngest and modern fleet of more than 144 domestic and international passenger and cargo destinations across 5 continents. In addition to its hub in Addis Ababa, it's also pursuing its multi-hub strategy through a hub in Lomé, Togo with Askai, in Lilongwe, Malawi with Malawi Airlines, and in Lusaka, Zambia with Zambia Airways.
Well, the viewers, finally a quick reminder of the top stories. Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed urges innovators to demonstrate their skills for development. And historians call for vibrant economy and innovation to voice African agendas. And with that, we come to the end of today's news. Thank you for watching us. Bye-bye.